Many will agree that while growing up in Kenya, the idea of internet at home was a reserve for the ones with the extra to spend and as a luxury, not as a need. Come the second millennium, everyone needs the internet at home, at work, on the road. Really, how did we live without the internet? Now that there are a ton of home internet products out there, very few have managed to remain consistent and appealing to customers. One of them is Safaricom Home Fibre, which launched a couple of years ago and has undergone some changes to ensure that customers have a better experience. But it can be bothersome sometimes, to be quite honest. Sometimes due to technical issues, unavoidable, but sometimes it's due to choices made by the consumer. How so? Stay tuned to find out. From Techweez, I'm TekItNGo with fiber to the home. Let's take it and go. The aim of this video is to find out if consumers have managed to gain from the home fiber and whether the frequency of use has grown or dropped following the ongoing pandemic. A few things to note before we proceed. Number one, people started working more from home since the first case of COVID-19 was reported back in March 2020. And secondly, schools were also closed as more COVID-19 cases were recorded. These developments meant that more people and students as if students are not people. More people and students were stuck at home, not to the joy of many parents, but we had to manage the situation. And to ensure that groups that use internet services were well served, Safaricom doubled home fiber speeds to serve the affected groups. For instance, the silver package was doubled to 20 Mbps, and it has remained so after the operator adjusted fiber speeds and pricing a few months ago. Video calls became the norm, from Microsoft Teams, Skype, Google Meet, WhatsApp videos, but with the popular platform being Zoom. Heck, people even call Google Meet meetings Zoom meetings. How did Zoom manage to overtake the rest, especially Skype? Skype was the... Anyway, that's a topic for another day. Most of us use Zoom nearly on a daily basis, up to 1 hour or thereabouts per day. And taking Zoom as our benchmark, how much data does it use? Well, assuming that you're calling a single person at 720p, then your usage will max out at around 1 gigabyte per hour. And assuming you make 20 Zoom calls per month, then the platform wouldn't consume more than 20 GB of your allocation. Group calls, however, consume slightly more data at around 1.4 GB per hour. And with such a case, a consumer would be just fine, with the bronze package, whose allocation is 500 GB before its speeds drop to 1 Mbps. Remember the bit in the intro about consumer choices? Yeah, this is it. Now, it's quite low, to be honest, especially if you're going to go down to 1 Mbps. And that is why we think that silver is good enough a compromise. It costs 1,100 shillings more at 4,000 shillings. It has a 1 TB data cap and has an unlimited 3 Mbps connection once the cap has been exhausted. When the cap was initially introduced, there was uproar on social media. We'll get to that in a few. Now, let's look into another popular use case, video streaming. Starting with Netflix. If watching from a mobile device, users can choose the resolution they want to stream content from, a feature that is unfortunately not available on devices such as Android TV boxes, but luckily adjusts quality based on the strength of your connection. Low settings use up to 300 Mbps per hour, and then high resolution consumes 3 GB, that is HD, or 7 GB for UHD per hour. If you use the platform a lot, say up to 5 hours a day at HD, then you can burn through 15 GB easily. And in any case, bronze is hardly the right choice. The good thing is that Netflix requires only a 3 Mbps connection to work just fine, which is why the entry-level 8 Mbps connection is just fine. Emphasis on just fine, because it is very relative depending on the viewer. Personally, I can never do with just fine. I need very fine. Okay, sorry, I digress. Other platforms such as YouTube, if set at 1080p, consumes 3 GB per hour, or half of that at HD. Multiply that with the amount of time you spend on the platform, and you can then calculate your usage compounded to a month. One thing is for sure though, we use our internet differently. and there are chances that heavy users would burn through their cap. I've seen in some cases where YouTube videos are left to play all day in the background as other activities are still ongoing in the home. But still, we are yet to see or hear reports of anyone burning through their cap. Specifically, our usage max is out at 600 GB, and that is a stretch, you know. Working from home provided great opportunities for content creators as well in the creative space. With the pandemic, in my opinion, heavily responsible for the blowing up of TikTok, especially in Africa and Kenya in specific, and then leading to the creation or the need for the creation of Instagram Reels. Social media platforms can manage with regular bundles in most cases for the consumer, but for the content creators, faster internet is important not just for uploads, but downloads of creation tools, research materials, etc. Now, zeroing back to online learning, it has since emerged that schools are more than a physical building thanks to facilities such as fiber to the home. Anyway, as students continue going back to school, Kenya and key players such as Safaricom consider how tech such as home fiber has been used to keep students connected to their teachers and what the future of education would look like. Kenyans who are also served by home fiber or live in serviced urban centers are fortunate to have relatively good internet access, although there are still notable gaps, especially in the rural setup. Even in large places like Nairobi, there is still some hope that things will improve over the next couple of years as the operator continues to expand its home fiber coverage. Therefore, in technical terms, working from home and online learning is feasible for Kenyans living in served areas. Oh yeah, and content creation too. And consumption, okay. Finally, the pandemic has highlighted that the issues of inadequate coverage exist, and the crisis should push the home fiber team to speed up adequate coverage for Kenyans. Before you leave, please, we have developed some tips on how you can avoid exhausting your home fiber cap so that you can stop crying. See the link provided in the description box down below. Make sure to also subscribe, like, and share. Till the next one, we done tech it. Now you go.